I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, January the 10th, brought to you in part by Norfenacol by Norbrook. Get to the bottom of BRD fast. Norfenacol is the bioequivalent of Nuflor, but it's not nearly as thick and a lot easier to use. It reaches therapeutic levels in the lungs within 30 minutes. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Also, Unionville Livestock Markets and Creston Livestock Markets in north central Missouri and south central Iowa. Big sales coming up this week, both specials in both locations. Unionville Livestock Market on Tuesday the 14th will have 2,700 head for their special, and then up at Creston on Wednesday the 15th they'll have 3,000 head. Both of these sales are going to have countless strings of long-time wean calves, including replacement quality heifers on a lot of these deals. They'll be some of the finest cattle you can find anywhere in the Midwest. Look no further than both Unionville Livestock Market and Creston Livestock Markets. You can view and bid both sales on DVAuction.com. Monumental Market. I'm running out of superlatives, people. It just keeps going up, and it's unbelievable. We're living in amazing times. Nobody ever dreamed that the market would get this high and just keep surging as we're going. We got a little bit fearful on Wednesday because the board was down pretty good, and then it bounced right back even more on Thursday. It is being driven by pure demand and cash, because the cash just keeps going. The board has to keep it, at least the rear view lights in sight somehow, and so it just keeps going. But how long can it keep going? I mean, that's what everybody's asking. How long is this thing going to continue? Well, we don't see it easing up at all yet. So we just keep keep on enjoying the good times and let the good times roll, because it is just going. But we are also seeing, and I'm hearing reports all over the country, that a lot of small producers, especially older small producers, are using this opportunity to sell out. All classes of cattle are at or near or past all-time record high prices, so why not use this opportunity to sell out? And that's going to be interesting to put into the equation, because with them gone, of course, somebody else is going to be using that land at some point, those people that are turning cattle out. But unlikely will they be able to raise as many cattle on that land as those people that knew it the best. So there again, we may not be replenishing or running as many cattle in the future on those places that are selling out as we have in the past. And we're seeing some retention of heifers. People are buying replacement heifers. People are offering up bred heifers, and they're being scarfed up. But I don't think it's going to offset as many cows as we've sold over the past 6-8 months, because our slaughter cow, way up cow market has been so good. We've really culled deep, and we've gone longer than normal without keeping any heifers, so that is holding us back from any kind of increase in herd. So likely we're going to see excellent prices going forward for the next couple of years. Are they going to stay at these all-time record highs? Are they going to get even higher? Anybody knows, but we'll just have to see what happens. But I was in Ontario, Canada, here late this week, and in London, Ontario, at the Cattlemen's convention or conference here in London, Ontario, and on Thursday I was able to go out and do some touring of some feedlot areas around this part of Ontario, and meet a lot of people. Gave a presentation that was very well received at the dinner on Thursday night. Gave the keynote speech there, and had a great crowd there, and everybody was really engaging, and enjoyed meeting so many people. And I tell you, I say it again, every time I come to Canada, I am so impressed with the people that are up here. Of course, I'm always dealing with cattle people, and cattle people are pretty much good everywhere, but especially up here in Canada. I'd never actually been in the Ontario area before, mostly in Western Canada, but these people in Ontario are just as good as the ones in Western Canada. And I got to learn a lot more about their marketing process. They don't have it nearly as good as we have it down in the States, guys. They don't have nearly as much a packer interest there. Like the folks here in Ontario, they have one major packer, and that's pretty much all they have. Now, I have talked to several feeders in this part of the country that are sending cattle down to Pennsylvania, slaughter cattle, and they're getting a better price down in Pennsylvania than they are here in Ontario. The exchange rate is terrible for the Canadians right now, worst it's been in a long time, and so they're just taking it in every which direction here, and the prices are high. The prices are high for them to get feeder cattle in Western Canada. A lot of times they're going down into the States, and even though our market's at all-time record high prices, they're being able to buy cattle there cheaper in the long run and bringing them up here, despite the freight and all the charges of getting them up here, guys. But you think we got it bad? The beef farming, beef farms of Ontario was looking, and I heard a presentation there, are proposing to raise the checkoff rate for Ontario producers from $5.50 a head to $7 a head. So you guys that are complaining about our buck, or in some states $1.50, it doesn't go very far, but still seen unbelievable prices everywhere. Superior had their bell ringer this week, and I've always kind of had the bell ringer close to my heart. When I was young, we lived in northeastern New Mexico. We used to put stocker heifers together and take them up to Denver stockyards to the bell ringer sale back whenever they had it there on the premises, and ran them through the ring there at the old stockyards. But Superior's bell ringer was very impressive, and any type of rumors of their early demise have been greatly exaggerated. They're still running on all cylinders, guys. They're the biggest seller of commercial cattle strings on video there. They sold 108,000 at their sale for the Superior bell ringer this week. One stick-out sale that I saw on Thursday come from the Choctaw ranches, and that's in Stringtown, Oklahoma, there on the east side of Oklahoma. These steers were 150 to 200 days weaned, all home raised, off grass, getting a little bit of commodity feed, maybe 1% of their body weight. They're coming January the 15th, so coming right away. Really, they had no implants, but other than that, not a whole lot of bells and whistles. Of course, they come out of top bulls from Express ranches, Gardner ranches, 44 ranches, so that helps with the buyback a little bit, but still. But these feeders, 210 head of these grass steers, weighed 725 pounds and bring $299.50. Wow, that's impressive, guys. I want to tell you about the Kingsville livestock auction having a special sale here today on Friday. They were snowed out on Tuesday. I told you on our last visit they had new renovations during the holiday break. They put in an entirely new scale, new block, new everything, first rate, top of the line there. But here today on Friday the 10th, they're going to have 20 loads of yearlings and 2,000 weaned calves there for the sale to make up for last Tuesday when they were snowed out. Be very impressive. And then on Tuesday, early this next week on the 14th, they're expecting around 4,000 head of weaned calves and yearlings. So you can check out that sale at Kingsville, Missouri, Kingsville Livestock Auction on DVAuction.com. Get a hold of them a little bit early, get approved where you can view and bid that sale from the Ansteins, and they do such a good job. Also, Lynn's Heritage Angus, I've been talking about them all week here, guys. They're really pushing this sale, and they've got the goods. You know, you can buy you know, bulls at these spring bull sales all over. How do you make the decision? You go with the one that offers more bulls, more service, with a better bull at a better price. You know, Lynn's Heritage Angus, they've got lots of options here. You are purchasing a buyback program whenever you buy those bulls there. You are purchasing free delivery, and you are purchasing housing until April on their ranch if you choose to do that. So check out that sale. You can go on to DVAuction right now, go down to Lynn's Heritage Angus and check out the videos on those bulls and all the information. But don't forget about the sale there at the ranch in Byers, Oklahoma on January the 16th. It's going to be on DVAuction.com. Let's talk about your board on Thursday. February live cattle futures up $3.90, driven by cash, because cash broke loose on Thursday. It's got to keep up somehow, and did well to do that because the board actually closed early due to Jimmy Carter mourning there. But live cattle for February up $3.90 at 197.60. That's real close to last week's weighted average, but this week's weighted average is likely going to be another all-time high, over $2 a pound. We've never seen that before. April live cattle up $2.75 at 198.27. Your back months on live cattle up 90 cents to up 2.25. January feeder cattle up $3.65, trying to stay within arm's length of the index levels, but can't keep up. January feeder cattle closed at $269.22 on Thursday, far behind our index levels. And like I say, the cash is driving the futures market. That's the way that it should be. Always frustrates me when the cash market is following the futures. But March feeder cattle up $3.32 at 268.30. Your back months up 222 to up 292. So huge gains on our back months if you guys are looking for LRPs. Look at your grains. March corn is up 2 cents a bushel at 4.56. March beans up 4.5 cents a bushel at 9.99. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for March unchanged at 5.50 1/4. Fat cattle trade, unbelievable. I tell you what, and I feel like it has a lot to do with the leverage that they have in the northern plains and in the Midwest, especially Iowa. Iowa's been selling more cattle than usual, more cattle than they have for the last couple of years. Negotiated cash. They've got all the leverage on their side. When they want more money for their cattle and the packers are wanting cattle, guess what? They get more money for cattle, and then everybody else gets to take advantage. Now, there's been times where Iowa hasn't been in as good a shape, and they've started out the trade kind of disappointing at times, we thought, but not during this rally. They have been keeping right up, and then they are flexing their muscle, asking more for cattle and getting it. Iowa sold 4,300 on Thursday before 2 o'clock, and likely a bunch more after that, because I kept hearing of feeders that I know that were selling cattle at these new high prices. But 6,300 for the week so far. Live cash prices in Iowa for finished fed cattle direct, negotiated cash, $2 to $2.05. We've never seen $2.05 before, guys. It's $4 to $8 higher. Nebraska, 5,200 before 2 o'clock on Thursday. Just a few more than that for the week. But live prices in Nebraska, $2 to $2.05. And dress prices at $3.20. $3.15 was our tops last week. $3.20, and that's all we saw was $3.20. Everybody wants $3.20. They're going to demand $3.20 and likely see that for your base, for your most prevalent price. On a dress basis, that's $5 higher than last week's top, guys. Kansas, they still haven't traded hardly any cattle in the southern plains. The guys are afraid to ask more. They don't want to get cut off, and they don't have any leverage at all because they've been selling all their cattle formula or so-called negotiated grid, which has no negotiation to it. It's just basically off of the cash price, which we have not established yet. But Sold a few cattle in Kansas, 300 head. Hadn't hardly sold any more than that this week, but they were in northern Kansas and they were dressed, and they got the 320 also. But no live price to speak of in the Southern Plains yet this week. Texas has not sold a hoof yet. Will they get $2 a pound? Who knows? Should they get $2 a pound? Of course. But we don't know what's going to happen in the Southern Plains yet, and we're at the end of the week. Fat cattle auction that I thought was impressive. Kelowna, Iowa had 1,200 head of slaughter cattle, including the cows and bulls. Conventional fat cattle at the sale barn in Kelowna, Iowa, 203 to 217.75. Wow, you think some of these smaller packers aren't having to really scrape as aggressive as the bigger packers are? It's just unbelievable, guys. Box beef cutout values up. They've got to charge more for their wholesale beef to try to stay somewhere close to break evens, guys. Your choice cuts up 217 at 330.78. Your selects up 146 at 308.35. Your slaughter running pretty good this week, but not very good comparison so far through the first 4 days of the week. Estimated cattle slaughter at 479,000, not comparable to the holiday week of a week ago, but 56,000 more than the weather that we had the same week a year ago, when we had several plants that were kind of down, and we've had some plants that's been struggling to keep pace this week because of the weather and the roads and things like that, but still fairly impressive for this week. Talk about what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services. Of course, that's Dakota Moss and all of his agents that work there with him. They are your LRP specialists. I told you guys that our back months have been very impressive here, especially on Thursday with big gains on there. Look at your protection levels on your calves that are being born right now and the ones that are not yet born or looking to be born here late this winter or early this spring. You can take protection out on them even though they haven't hit the ground yet. So get a hold of them there. For more information, go to livestockriskservices.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction late in the day on Thursday after all your sales were closed, sitting at 276.71, gaining another $2.15 on the 7-day moving average on Thursday. These were all records, guys. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index was at 275 smooth, just trying to catch up, but always day and a half behind your real-time index. And if you think it's not a good indicator of what your CME cash feeder cattle index is going to be, you are not paying attention. Some big sales that are happening here on Friday, on top of the Friday special at Kingsville, Missouri. Crawford Livestock Market in Crawford, Nebraska is having a huge calf special there. 6,000 head starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. I mean, the quality there is just unbeatable, guys. You can view and bid that sale on DVAuction.com. Also, St. Ange Livestock in St. Ange, South Dakota, they're having a special sale. They've got bred heifers and bred cows, and they are selling all classes there, so they will have some calves. Didn't notice any yearlings on there, but did have some other cattle on there too. But some really nice consignments of bred heifers and bred cows, guys, if you're interested in some of those. Also on DVAuction.com. Talk about some of your big sales that happened on Thursday. Normally we get a good trend out of winter livestock and Pratt. The weather kind of got them, and they had a much lighter offering than usual, so not a good test there. Good test at Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas. About 2,900 head for them. The market was $5 to $10 higher, with spots as much as $12 higher, especially on big heifers. And speaking of big heifers, check out this individual quote from Salina, Kansas. 147 heifers weighed 716 and bring 267. Big time quote on some heifers, guys. How about a market we hardly ever talk about, in an area we never talk about, but Navasota, Texas, Navasota Livestock Auction had their big special that they have for weaned and vaccinated calves. We've been missing that in Central Texas, guys. People just, cut their calves off and take them right to the sale. But these are commingled sales. Of course, they've got bigger bunches coming in there. They've had all their shots. They've been long time weaned. And man, do the buyers come out for them whenever they're there. Included in that Navasota, Texas special was a big string of 368-pound number one steer calves. They were black and Charolais cross. 368-pound steers in Navasota, Texas bring 440. Wow. How about Stockman's Livestock Exchange in Dickinson, North Dakota, the East Barn, their main barn there, that over 4,600 head there, so a really good sale for them. And they were our National Beefwire stick-out sale of the day. And you check out this market and you see the best tested weights, which were straight through there, and included in there they had 336 head of full-weight steer calves in Dickinson. They averaged 464 at 384.82. 595 head of 5-weight steers averaged 548 with a weighted average on all of them of 347.82. There were 863 head of 6-weight steers. They averaged 642 at 321.15. 320 head of 7-weight steers averaged 737 at 290.41. Excuse me, 282 head of 8-weight steers averaged 842 at 272.86. Look at the heifers in Dickinson, North Dakota. 436 head of 4-weight heifer calves averaged 444. The weighted average price on all of them of 351.57. And 592 head of 5-weight heifer calves averaged 543 at 329.49. Want to give you some more individual quotes, and these are all records for the particular market and for the particular area, guys. It's just unbelievable what cattle are bringing. How about Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota? That's a DVAuction broadcaster, guys. You can view and bid their sale every week, and every time they have one, they're having a special sale on Saturday with some bred cows and bred heifers. But 51 steers in Mitchell, South Dakota weighed 712 and bring 321. How about Napoleon Livestock in Napoleon, North Dakota? They had 4 loads of steers, weighed just around 750 pounds at 315. Unbelievable. How about Columbus Sales Pavilion in Columbus, Nebraska? 71 steers weighed 842 at 286.50. But that's not the biggest one. The most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday, your Macrison, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas. It was 60 steer calves, weighed 507 and bring 401. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.